Hi, good evening, dear friends. Welcome. Thank you for being again with us in this weekly vigil for the Middle East. This is Efrat from Jerusalem. Last week, I shared with you the two main issues, which are mainly in the consciousness of the people here in Israel. And actually, those two issues are still the main issues, but I would like to put some light on the connection between everything that happened here, which is all about and around the Law Institute and actually the trial which the Prime Minister Netanyahu is facing now, or which running now against him. It has to do with this that with the hostages question, and many people here in the civil society and also among the people of the army believe that Netanyahu doesn't want to bring them home. He doesn't want to end the war because it means that it's immediately will have a state commission of inquiry about what happened in the 7th of October. And it seems like having this mark the end of this government, and they fight for this. And they try to do it by trying to fire the legal advisor of the government, and to have a lot of trying to bring new rules in a not so legally procedure against all the law institute. So this is the kind of mess that we are in now. Thank you.
Thank you, Efrat. And I will today try to give some overview of the wider Middle East in the absence of Helen. So we know that the hot point, the focal point has shifted into Syria, although of course also the killings in Gaza are going on, and everything else is going on. But the main focus now, the world's eye, is on Syria. And this is where the main solar plexus energies are playing themselves out at the moment. With all these different backgrounds and affiliations in Syria, the local population, we can sense that there is an attempt to use this breakdown of this whole known structure to build a new civic society. There are bubblings of something new wanting to be tried out. One example I found very heartening. It's when this present interim leader of Syria has been asked has asked a woman to cover her head. She refused, and a whole movement sprang up of women who deliver the message that they have been told for enough years by a dictator what to do, and now they will not comply with yet another one telling them what to put on their heads. So there are these voices among the locals. Of course, each grouping is pressing for their own agendas, and things are extremely volatile and dangerous for everyone on a daily living level. And in addition to the different segments of the Syrian society itself, there are the neighbors, the regional players, Turkey, Iran, Iraq, the Emirates, Saudi, Israel, each with their interests. We could say at the moment at least the big movers and winners in this breakdown are Turkey and Israel, taking over land and influence. And of course, behind them all stand the two world powers, USA and Russia, or maybe more inclusively, the Western powers, including Europe on the one side, and what we now could call the BRICS powers. We know that there's a lot of diplomacy going on behind closed doors on the highest levels. So let us hope that they have the best interest of the integrity of Syria in mind and working towards really a new order in the Middle East towards peace. Okay, because Helen is not with us today, so instead of sounding the great invocation in Arabic, we will hold a silent space in which we subjectively project the energy of the great invocation for our Arabic speaking brothers and sisters. Okay, so let us turn inward now. Settling into our body. Into our inner silence. Feeling our hearts. And collecting our awareness now in the center of the head. And standing as a soul in incarnation. Coming together in the group heart. And feel the group heart pulsing with the will to love. And let our minds join telepathically into a unified field. Standing together as souls in the will to peace. We recognize our oneness with the planetary servers around the world, being part of this network of continual telepathic communion. And as such, let us now attune with the higher co-workers who guide this work, who work especially with the Middle East. Tuning our group heart to their vibration. and our group mind to their clear, discerning light. And standing at the midway point between the higher forces and the condition on the ground, let us turn our eyes now downward into this condition, get an overall sense of this large volatile field of consciousness. See how the world forces are concentrated here at the moment. Getting a sense of the different forces playing out here, global, regional, local. A real vortex. We may be discerning on the mental plane these many different agendas vying for influence. Could perhaps distinguish some of these Piscean old beliefs and patterns, thought forms, and some of the young Aquarian ones. And observe how they stir the emotional forces into intense activity, intense friction. And how this in turn causes inflammations and eruptions on the physical plane, physical violence. And let's release all judging, all thoughts of right and wrong. Just for a moment, observing, discerning how all this is shifting, just containing in our consciousness this situation, perhaps with a kind of scientific compassion. Just witnessing. All these players acting and reacting. And now from our midway point, let us turn our eyes upwards, so to speak, towards the divine plan, towards the intended design for the Middle East. Just opening our consciousness for our higher guides and co-workers so they may impress us with their wider vision. Intended design. And bringing now any impressions of this intended design into our group awareness, onto the midway point, and at the same time, holding also the condition on the ground in our group awareness, bringing the two into relation, the intended design and the outer condition, sensing a magnetic relationship being set up between the potential and the actual. And see energies flowing between them, as above, so below. See and sense a shaft of pure golden white light, broad and brilliant, flood West Asia. See a huge column of light pouring through all planes. Hold this column steady in the will to peace. And as we hold it steady, let us see soul light flooding the mental sphere and visualize the mental forces in the area aligning to an inclusive soul vision, tracing this happening. Every human life is sacred. Every person has the right to their religion and their culture. Only together will peace be built. And see the soul light pouring into the emotional sphere of the Middle East, touching hearts, soothing, gently pointing towards tolerance, temperance, and restoring trust in basic human goodness. See the light now pouring into the etheric physical plane of the Middle East, penetrating into the earth, working through all that is still there, these old separative patterns, disintegrating, dissolving. We take another moment to observe this transmuting process underway within the entire pillar of light, this shift of consciousness wanting to take place on all levels and in all groupings and affiliations in the Middle East. And let us invoke higher help. Let us reach out to the Lords of Liberation and visualize them pouring their energy through the pillar of light, destroying the old hindering separative forms, releasing, liberating. And we stand witness in this process of unavoidable destruction, witness to all the suffering. And visualizing this conflict eventually playing itself out towards harmony, seeing the solar plexus intensity slowly shifting, redirecting towards the heart. Tracing this on the subtle level. And holding this intention and streaming it forth as we sound now the great invocation, first in Hebrew, and then we hold a moment in silence in which we will subjectively project the energy of the great invocation in Arabic into the Arabic consciousness.
מנקודת
From the
האור,
point of light within the mind of God,
מנקודת האור אשר בדעת אל, יזרום האור אל דעת האדם, ירד האור על פני האדמה. מנקודת האהבה אשר בלב האל, תזרום האהבה אל לבבות אנוש. ישוב מורה עולם על פני האדמה. מהמרכז שבו נודע רצון האל, תנחה תכלית את רצונות אדם. תכלית אותה מורי האנושות יודעים ומשרתים. מהמרכז אשר נקרא המין האנושי, שם תוכנית האהבה והאור, ויחתם הפתח אל הרע. יהי רצון, ויחדשו אור אהבה ועוצמה, את התוכנית על פני האדמה. אמן.
Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. Om.